right, beautiful people out there, this is your show again, 101 with Prince Mauzi. My name is Prince Mauzi, and I have my partner in the studio, Ibar.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your co-host Ibar.
So today we'll be talking about car racing and race game, all in general. So I think at this particular juncture, I will be asking for those of us who are car racing sport fans. So you need to draw closer to the screen, and then let's do this together. All right. So before we go further in this the episode, if you have not subscribed, this is the time for us to do our ritual. So please, down below you will see subscribe button. Please just hit it. Do us that favor. Support us. We need that support. You guys have been super amazing all this while. Subscribing, liking, commenting, and all that. We celebrate you guys. So please, if you have not done that, if you're joining the show for the first time, please do that. All right. Thank you for subscribing and liking this episode. So we dive into today's topic, and in the studio we have our guest, and he will be introducing himself, and he will tell us more or a lot about himself. So please, over to you.
Hello, my name is Ilgiz Mukhambetov. I am 19 years old and a Astana IT University student, and I do sim racing for a living.
Okay, yes, basically, so simulation racing or video game racing, but in a more realistic environment.
Yes,
basically
that's
say.
So, when did you start racing?
Basically.
So I started racing since I was a kid. I was playing like some sort of arcade-based racing games
Okay.
in the arcade buildings and all that stuff. But later on, in 2021, that's when I got to play the first ever real-life or realistic racing game, which is F1 2019. And that was my first ever Formula One racing game. At first I was an amateur. I was like, how to control this car? Like, why does it spin out every time? I can't control it. I can't brake. And I kept improving. I learned really quickly how to drive it. From there on, in 2022, I started doing F1 2020 and then move on to F1 2021, 22, 23.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, basically now with F1 24 coming out soon, yeah, I will be definitely will be purchasing this game and post videos on Instagram, continue to do so.
So yeah, on that note, kind of curious about the equipment you had back then. So basically, in order to play simcade or sim races, well, in my experience, I haven't had the chance to experience them because of the cost of the equipment. So let's say I played using game pads or whatever. Not the best experience, to be honest. So as far as the equipment goes, how did you manage to get your hands on one of those?
So back in 2021, at the end of the year, my parents basically got me a very sort of cheap steering wheel with pedals from the Thrustmaster company that you can connect to not only your computer but to PlayStation as well. So that's when, I also played on gamepad when I started. And I never tried to do it on the keyboard because that would be terrible. Yeah, but the gamepad is like a very comfortable alternative sort of control.
Yeah.
When you don't have a sim racing wheel or something like that. But after purchasing a steering wheel, I found out that, oh my god, man, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. And I learned quickly how to control. I went through the steering wheel settings, like Googled a lot of stuff. What are the best settings for the steering wheel? And that's when I started to go online and race with people. Yeah, it definitely helped me out a lot. So,
What about the force feedback? Does it have one?
yeah, it does have a force feedback, rather a strong one.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But yeah, it's the wheel wasn't that expensive, like around 150K tenge,
Oh wow.
because it came with the pedals as well in one box. But later on, throughout 2022, the the gas pedal spring, it like snapped, and I had to repair it.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's what we did, and I came back to sim racing, but then it snapped again. I was like, oh my god, I need new pedals, because the ones that came with the steering wheel in the box, they were like plastic,
Oh.
so not very good. So I quickly ordered one from Ozon. They're like metal
Metal
this time,
springs, yeah.
and they have a clutch pedal this time. So
Oh, wow.
Clutch pedal, okay.
Is there like a huge difference between the game and the real life racing?
Actually, yeah, so transitioning topic, basically.
yeah, that's pretty much true. So at the start of this year, I started posting some videos of how I beat real life Formula One drivers lap times by doing so in the video game F1 23. And once I started to do so, there were a lot of people, a lot of views. I started getting a lot of views, likes,
Oh wow.
but the comments were pretty harm. Not gonna lie.
Well, that's the
Because-
racing community for you.
Yeah, that's true. We have to face that. But I was like getting comments on how congratulations. Now try to do it in the real life F1 car. Congratulations, you did it with no physical challenge. Oh my god. And there was this one video that got like around 75,000 views that I did, where I beat Max Verstappen's lap time.
Verstappen.
Yeah. So when I started my lap, I went through turn one, and it was pretty close to me cutting the corner, but the community in the comments thought that I actually did cut the corner, and I didn't do so because my lap time would have been deleted, and the mini map at the bottom left of the game would have gone red. So I didn't do that, but a lot of people think that I did.
They claimed, yeah.
And there were some people that actually supported me and explained the track limits to those who don't understand basically how it works, maybe.
So when you beat this person, this particular player, you were awarded monetary award, or
No.
was it like
Probably
any?
not.
No, I'm just doing this for fun because
The lap records.
yes,
Statistics.
because I've been playing Formula One games now for 3 or maybe 2 years, and I got bored of doing so by myself. So I thought, why not show it to the world? Like I set a challenge for myself, like beating real life Formula One drivers' lap times, and I decided to show it to the world because I'm not the only person to do so. There are other YouTubers, content creators that are doing so.
Jimmy Broadband, Kuro HS.
Yeah, well, I didn't see Jimmy Broadband do so, but there's this content creator called Tom97 where every race weekend comes in Formula One.
Super GT.
When the qualifying is over, he like starts to record a video of himself. It's called "Can I Beat the Pole Lap?" So I thought of it as an interesting idea. So I thought, why not do it myself?
I actually remember at one point in 2022 or 23, there was a collaboratory match or a race between just anyone that plays F1 2021 or 2022 and the real races. I think they had Charles Leclerc and who else from Ferrari, I think, or Red Bull. Who was the name? Bottas? No, not Bottas, sorry.
Albon.
But some, the second co-driver, not co-driver, the second driver from Red Bull.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, with all the YouTubers also, Kuro HS, Jimmy Broadband, and maybe someone else. The whole thing is actually a transitionary topic between it. So the thing they say, the real races they say about the sim races, is all the solutions that are present right now are completely botched when it comes to their netcode. So they have frequent stutters, they have frequent lags. Some of the collisions are falsely detected. Sometimes you collide with someone and in fact, it's the mistake of the person up front, but system decides it's you. So things like that.
Well, there are some YouTubers who were filming alongside real-life Formula One drivers when they were racing against them. And it mostly happened during quarantine in 2020.
Yeah. Most of the time.
So, not only YouTubers, but Formula One drivers themselves started racing virtually when waiting for the season to continue when the COVID hit. So they started streaming on Twitch, including Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, for example.
Nah, Norris, yeah.
They started Twitch streaming how they would race each other. So it was pretty messy.
Like
They were
completely
crashing a lot into each other. But yeah, it was definitely enjoyable to watch while sitting at home without going outside.
It was.
Okay, so as it is right now, would you go into racing officially as a career in the future, or
Simcade or sim racing.
still for fun?
Well, I don't know if it's too late for me to join the real life motorsport, but I don't know, because every motorsport racing driver starts his career at a young age
Yeah.
in the go-karting, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what we don't have in Kazakhstan, basically. Well, we do have
We do
one.
have, but it's
It's until 16, basically.
yeah.
And I wasn't really interested in the motorsport when I was young. I was more interested in physical sports. So I was really interested in F1 back in 2021. So I don't know if it's too late for me right now. But but even if it is, I still have a chance to maybe get better and go through sim racing, Formula One esports events, maybe.
I think at this point the path is open for touring races, rally stages, and cross stages, rally cross stages. But I'm not sure about the F1. No, F1 is out of bounds. Not only you have to start from scratch when you were young, but you also have to have quite a hefty amount of funds
Yeah, that's true.
in your pocket.
But those that have seen the Gran Turismo movie, there was like this main character, I think, that was doing sim racing at home. Like he had his own setup as well. He basically showed it to the world as well, and then somehow got into real life Gran Turismo racing. So that's probably something I hope I can do, but maybe with F1 esports, who knows? I'll be maybe a first Kazakh driver, because we don't have those yet.
Yeah, we don't.
So each time you play, do you play to win like an award, or
Enjoy your time,
you just play just for
fun.
fun? Just
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
passion?
For Formula One, basically, race weekends are happening every 2 weekends, so I have to be patient to wait for it, to watch it on TV. So sometimes, yeah, I go to my setup and I just play for fun.
Okay.
So it's a mix of both, basically.
Yeah, sometimes I would like to be competitive and maybe set world records, which I can't do yet because I have to improve a lot. But it is pretty difficult, not gonna lie, to drive even the Formula One car virtually.
On that ground, I would like to just continue switching into our, let's say, land, yeah, Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
What's the picture of not just sim racing? Sim racing is obvious. Okay, of course, if it can be grown without the interference of governments, civil agencies, or whatever, we can do it ourselves. But when it comes to racing or just overall, how do I call it? The sports side of it. How's the picture? What's the picture in Kazakhstan? I remember at some point they promised, or they were planning to build an F1 track around Taldykorgan, I think. but that ended up being a rumor, and we never ended up having it.
Well, we don't have that many F1 fans in Kazakhstan. We don't have a lot of fans that watch motorsport in general. Our society mostly enjoys drifting or maybe even rally racing.
Hmm.
But there is a track in Almaty called Sokol,
Yeah.
which hopefully will be a Grand Prix at some point. We don't know obviously yet, but 2026 promises us some new regulation changes in Formula One cars,
Hmm.
in rules. So hopefully that 2026 will also introduce the Kazakhstan Grand Prix into the
Hopefully, yeah.
into the calendar. But who knows?
Who knows? If we build our track.
Okay, so right now we're going to go on a commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue on this amazing topic. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to this topic. We're still on the car racing episode. Before I go into the next question, in Africa, let me use Africa as a whole. I don't think we're much familiar with this car racing sport thing. Maybe because we don't have good roads. Yeah.
Maybe.
So people actually go out to do this car racing thing just for fun, not for sport or for just for fun.
Not competition.
Let's drive for fun, and then when it comes to the gaming part of it, I've really seen people in my country, Nigeria, play different kind of games when it comes to zombies, gun and all of this. It's just I've seen few people who play this
Racing
car
games.
racing thing because most people, like majority of the people, are not even good when it comes to driving.
To begin with.
Yeah. So I think this, I don't know about here and other countries, but I think this topic will do a lot of justice when it comes to people who want to learn or who wants to grab more knowledge about this car racing thing and all that. Now, the next question I want to ask, this is the time of AI. We have artificial intelligence doing most of the things in this Gen Z time now.
Okay.
So what is the positive and the negative impact of artificial intelligence to this car racing thing? Is there any? If there is any, how?
Oh,
Well,
curious thing.
there is one motorsport called Super Formula, I think it was.
Yeah.
And recently it hosted like sort of like an exhibition race, and it showed how AI would drive the car on its own. So there was no driver in the car.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
That
that's
happened.
true.
Yeah.
So there was also a former Formula One driver from Russia, Daniil Kvyat, who was racing against that AI car. And I didn't watch the whole thing, but obviously AI was much slower when it comes to racing against a real life
Really?
person. Yes,
Yeah.
it really was. But I don't know what they're trying to tell us, because if at some point motorsport is going to go to AI racing, that will be boring to watch.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I think I saw some TikTok or Instagram reels where a lady was in a car. She was trying to like change her dress, and then the car was driving itself and all that. So I think I can see the handwork of AI too in that kind of thing. It has to do with programming, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're probably talking about the self-driving feature. It's not really about the racing, because racing engages multiple senses.
well, if they can produce that kind of car, yeah, that means with time, such car in the racing platform can also come out where they don't need drivers, or they need those cars to be ahead, and then the real drivers will have to compete with AI drivers in real life to see who will be.
But yeah,
is it even possible?
If they're mixed up, okay, if AI and human drivers are mixed up in one let's say, track, it's okay, yeah. But if it's only AI, just as he said, it will be boring, just downright boring.
Do you think it will be boring
Yeah,
or
yeah.
super exciting to know that you're driving against a machine all by yourself?
That's a
and
superpositioning principle. They will all yield into one point at some point, and people are creative, more creative.
Okay.
So yeah, they have the what do we call personality?
Well, racing is also about some racing incidents, for example.
Yeah.
And what if AI won't be able to have that if it takes over at some point? Because they would be driving at a perfect racing line each lap, every lap, without crashing or bumping into each other. But who knows? But I'm just saying that right now in Formula One, for example, teams, there are 10 teams in Formula One, and the cars are not equal. Some are fast, some are slow.
Mercedes.
Yes, cars like Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari, they're quick, and there are some bottom, I would say, bottom fighters, for example.
Yeah.
The teams like Kick, Sauber, F1,
Sauber,
Haas,
yeah.
and even
Red Bull.
no, Williams, for example, as a
Oh.
team.
Okay.
And the cars aren't equal in the performance, so it doesn't depend on the driver as well to if they are skilled, if they are quick, if they know how to drive the car at a fast pace, for example. It also not only depends on them, but it depends on the mechanics, how they build the F1 car, the aerodynamics and the power and all that stuff. So if, for example, they give the best driver a slow car, he would put it in like sort of top 10 out of 20, maybe even higher than that. For example, like top 14 maybe. So it doesn't only depend on the driver, it also depends on the car. And what if AI is strong in this position and will drive a slow car that will be much fast because of how it drives? That would probably make something exciting
Yeah.
to watch.
Okay, so sponsorship, I have a question here. Sponsorships and endorsement play a huge role in a racer's career. Have you ever felt pressured to align with a brand or company that you personally disagreed with?
Right now, no. I don't.
Not at this point.
No.
Okay.
I didn't have any sponsors or... well, I don't know if it counts, but recently there was a sim racing event at a car exhibition that was held last month in April
Okay.
at the Expo Exhibition Center here in Astana. There was a sim racing event 3 days in a row where first 6 sort of like fastest drivers in those 2 days would set up a fastest lap, and then they would compete in the race on day 3. So I was participating in it too, and I actually won this event. And the prize I got was 100,000 tenge, but it's not specifically prize money because this prize money goes to purchasing the tires from the tire brand Yokohama.
Yeah.
Of course.
So unfortunately, it wasn't really a prize money, but at least we can have some really good quality tires now. But I don't know if I consider Yokohama as a sponsor for myself now. I don't think so really, but
So
we'll see.
what you're trying to like say now is most of the things you purchase when it comes to like trying to build more strong, like
A car, basically.
strong cars or gears, gears, you entirely finance it from your pocket.
Well,
At the
yeah, of
beginning,
course.
probably. At the beginning.
Yeah, of course. Money is always an issue when it comes to building a car, a very fast car, a very powerful car. But Yokohama tires is another thing because it's the high quality tires.
Okay.
I don't know how long they last for, but
Not so much. Depends on what kind of tires there are. Slicks, house slicks.
well, for example, if you want to purchase winter tires,
If they're all season, if they're not, that depends. And also, basically by convention, most of the high-end tires, just like any kind of high-end things, they're high quality, they're luxury, but they don't last long, and they're quite expensive when it comes to servicing.
So in essence, right now, what you're saying is it's more expensive to build a racing car than building a normal car.
Yeah, of course.
well, obviously, when it comes to Formula One, for example,
Millions of dollars.
yes, a lot of sponsors come into play to help with finances when it comes to building a perfect Formula One car. Like when you taking an example like McLaren, for example, in 2018 they have very, very limited sponsors, and they were very, very slow. In 2019 they were kind of started slowly going up with the sponsors and had new drivers, and their car was a lot better than in 2018. Then it started just going up from 2020 to 2021. For some reason, in 2022 they had a lot more sponsors, but their car was very, very slow at the beginning of the season. Now, in 2023, and right now, they're starting to get back up with the recent win in Miami, for example, with Lando Norris winning.
Norris.
Yes. So yeah, sponsors definitely matter when it comes to building a very good car.
So yeah, from the early days of car culture, whatever, when it comes to sportsmanship, even back in the 40s, 30s, there was a thing called putting decals on your car with the sponsors' names on it. So any kind of motorsport you come across, rally racing, GT, GT3, whatever, each one of them has at least one sponsor or brand name on their car displayed. So when it comes to professionalism, you will end up, no matter what, coming up with sponsors, gaining sponsorships, and if you don't, you're not going to succeed, because the stakes at this point is always high. But when it comes to our regular races in Russia, for example, in Kazakhstan, most of them are rally races. You just hop into your Lada 2104 that you bought for 500,000 tenge, just spruce it up with some aftermarket turbos, but it'll definitely die after a few tries. But you'll have fun doing it, and it won't cost as much. So that's the main picture. And as I said in the very beginning, well, he's a sim racer at this point. Maybe in the future, probably he's going to turn into real racing, but we don't know.
Yeah, it can actually be a kind of question.
Yeah.
If you want to, do you have plans? Or do you think
He will be. But I think he discussed
despite the age that you mentioned earlier, let's take out the age. Do you think, aside from the age, you can still,
I think so.
okay?
There are things called weekends. So basically, festivals and whatnot, you can still earn money from them, but they're not really competitive ones. But you still make you still set lap times and whatnot. But yeah, they're not on a huge scale. But still, he can participate in one of those and actually, spread Kazakhstan's name in these events. These matter too, in a way.
All right, guys, we have come to the end of today's episode. We have our guest, and we have his Instagram handle down below. If you want to know more about this car racing game and the real life racing, and you want to ask him more questions to know more or learn more about these stuffs, you can send him message on Instagram, and he will definitely respond to you, and you guys can actually get along on what to do and all that. So If you're just meeting this show right now, you have to subscribe to this channel, like, and share so that people out there will know about this episode and car racing. Till we come your way again, this is still 101 with Prince Maozi. My name is Prince Maozi. And my partner,
Aibar,
see you.
see you next time.